Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's kind of a dramatic spin-off to the apocalyptic end times view of this upcoming blood moon. And it involves, you can take a look on YouTube, take a look for yourself, the 3 days of darkness. Have you heard about? Are you serious? Are you serious? Have you heard about the 3 days of darkness? I remember actually hearing from, I believe, some New Agers, I believe in the 1980s, about a 3 days of light, sunlight. Now, I do think that it's very possible within our lifetimes that we could see some big event. We can even see the power elite trying to manufacture events to make things appear to be biblical. You know, events being manufactured around the nation, for example, of Syria and Israel as we go towards this blood moon. And a lot of people feed on that energy. So I want to talk a little bit about that today because I want to encourage you to protect your mind. I actually wrote a few things over at the VHX site, which is for members only. I wrote the following: as the world awaits the blood moon, I too await a new cycle. The cycle that we are moving into is not a new one and not something to be misconfused as the end of the world, as it is so often portrayed. In fact, this time around, there's quite a lot of hype around a supposed 3 days of darkness. Now, does this seem like a society that could be just a little bit possessed on a large scale to fall for such scams while ignoring real issues they should be more concerned with? What could be, and I'm just asking you so you can maybe answer yourself in your own mind, what are some of the more important things that we should be more concerned with? Right? 3 days of darkness? How about a planet in darkness? How about a fallen world and waking up to what that fallen world is and then evolving beyond it? So there's something that I posted in a Blood Moon public journal, and this is actually going to be a longer podcast that I will be posting for supporters at Patreon. I myself, as we reach this pinnacle point of the blood moon, coming to my own realizations, it's an energetic shift. We go through the full moon every month. It's a period to focus on or to fill out that completion. There is something naturally coming to completion. People may not understand it. Look at what's going on in Portland and the climax of all of it, with the police moving the protesters out as the full moon comes in. Did you notice that? Did you notice that? I mean, there are people that were noticing, like, you know, almost like this archonic personality within, you know, an element of the protest base, which got real nasty real fast, which wasn't so predominant like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. And I've been talking for years on this very YouTube channel about how I feel like cities, specifically mentioning Portland, whether it's solar, lunar, celestial, all the above, something else, there's something about that city and cities like that. During certain periods, we could see some examples of people acting out. Like, crime reports aside, you know, we're just looking at the protest behavior. And not to demonize all protesters, but looking at what's going on in Portland, Oregon, and kind of like the drama queen and drama king tone that it took. To where even people in the media and the mayor are going, oh my God, oh dear Lord. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. So, you know, I'm going to be talking about things in a more general tone on the public side of things. Then for the members only or supporters at Patreon, I'll go a little bit deeper into the things that I want to discuss, things that I've been going through. And moving forward from here on out, one of the things that I've dealt with recently is a $429 fine that was imposed yesterday. And I paid several $100s that I've been holding on to, left over from the job that I worked at a few months ago. And I'm going to have to show proof of car insurance for the next 6 months. And so it's not often that someone goes 3 times for the same ticket. Usually it's, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you know, give them the money, the fine, and whatever. And they're imposing additional things more than I've ever seen from other courthouses. And so one of the things that has been stressed me out in private is just the need to find a way to bring in an extra $100 per month to make sure I maintain that auto insurance to prevent this from happening again. I'm going to have to go back in January and account for the 6 months between now and January. I'm also going to have to be very delicate with my car because I can't afford any major repairs. So just real brief on this note, like we go through periods in which is a climax of certain things and, a beginning of a new cycle. And for me, there does seem to be an energetic shifting of energies and focuses. I'm going to have to be a lot more on it, bringing content on a regular basis just to make it because of how things are on YouTube. And I've talked about that in other videos. So that's another part of this blood moon thing for me. A few months ago, I was wanting to go travel. Hey, if I can get a few extra $100, go maybe up to Denver. Hey, right now it's just about survival. And right now it's returning to just simple gratitude for just life. All my limbs are working. We have the internet right now. Every now and then I can do a live stream. I'm starting to post to my websites again with this blood moon energy. Today I made myself write out a longer blog, which I'm going to read on the full version of this podcast for supporters. And you can donate any amount to join over at Patreon. But this is the direction that I need to go more in as I started going in this direction a few years ago, as well as outsidethebox.vhx.tv and creating that private forum community. There's places where you can go and ask a question or start a topic. And it's a great forum, a lot better than the other ones that I've used in the past. And what are the great realizations that I've had to come to? And I'll just mention this briefly. It's good to get additional work when it works out in the end. Sometimes we need to keep doing what we're doing. And when I look at, all the events of the last few months occurring behind the scenes, and all that time that I spent at the burger joint, which was energetically a really bad place, I'm watching how even driving in and out of town, which led to me getting the ticket, and they caught me without insurance for just a brief period in time, leading to this process to where somehow or another, all that money that I earned is all going back to the system in some way, shape, or form, which sounds horrifying, but I'm here to learn from the experience as the cycle completes itself. And the judge gives his commands. You will give us $429 plus spend, at least $500, $400 maintaining insurance. That's almost $1,000. Wasn't expecting that. Now that's a part of my new reality. Going forward, have to be extra frugal, extra disciplined, as if my whole life wasn't already based on just buy food, just buy the basic essentials. I'm not going anywhere. And now this year, there's almost certainly no vacation. But I'm sure glad my friend came to visit in April. But see, it's not whining when you realize your strength comes from stepping back from those previous desires and goals. I really wanted to travel a few months ago, and there's a part of me that does. Hell, I'd like to be somewhere near the Ecuador, or the equator. I'd like to be at the equator, places I've never been, to fill places, and I realize that's a part of the biology of Alex Ansary, just as there may be biology within you that maybe wants to go party, have a fiesta, go travel, and do something exciting. And I'm just saying, to you and myself, sometimes a little bit more frugal, and we can save a little bit more energy, all different types of energy, if we learn to use that energy and inspiration in a good way, in a strategic way. I look back at how I felt that angst and extra energy back in the winter of 2017. And with money stored up on the side, I went to Southern California. It was premature. Didn't really have a great time. Didn't really set up the accommodations. And I was blown away by the energy. And my health was suffering because I was taking antibiotics. This is before I got a very important tooth infection repaired, so to speak. And so I wanted to shake up my reality because it also felt dull and stagnant. And in a way it still does and is an environment that feels it's literally backwoods. It's literally the backwoods. So there's a certain energy that goes with that. Enough said. So I'm at a place in my life on a personal note where I have to become more disciplined than ever to provide that inner spark within. You know what I mean? That inner spark, that inner flame, that inner gnosis. because like this has been like a big growing experience for me, to spending several years off the grid and having to be self-motivated. And it's a part of me that wants to be around other people where the action is, but I don't really need it. Those desires come from certain biological programming to have a tribe, have people around, social acceptance, entertainment. Kind of like yin and yang. You can't just work all the time. A little bit of relaxation. Not much of a dancer, but somebody could be so pin up, so to speak, cabin fever, they might be willing to do a little bit of dancing, stretch your legs out at least. And there's a part of me that wants to do that, right? That wants to travel. But I understand that it's about the right time. When is the right time for travel? That is